My case is, I wouldn't be alive. A 38-year-old tobacco chewer came to me with acute anterior wall MI, hypotension and severe retrosternal discomfort. The blood pressure on arrival was only 70 by 50 millimeters of mercury, and a 2D echo showed an EF of 10 to 15%. Pardon the typo. After starting the maximum dose of inotropes, patient was taken up for cath lab for coronary angiogram. This is the coronary angiogram which I found, to my horror. If you can see, the entire LAD is flush occluded at the ostium, and the distal left main is showing a thrombus. Distal left main is showing a thrombus, and there is a big ramus which is also showing thrombus at the ostium. एक minute. It's not playing. IABP was first inserted to maintain the BP and support the coronary circulation. I decided to suck out the thrombus using an export extraction catheter. In all, 10 runs of the thrombus extraction were performed. Patient receives intravenous and intracoronary tirofiban during the procedure, as well as intracoronary NTG and nicorandil. Meticulous care was taken to prevent any distal embolization, because distal embolization in this situation would be catastrophic. This is the intervention. I basically sucked out the thrombus both from the LAD and from the ramus also. You can see the IABP is in situ. After that, I could get a reasonable result, but you can see there is some residual thrombus which is still present even after the thrombus extraction was done in the LAD. But a TIMI-3 flow with a good myocardial blush was achieved at the end of the 10 rounds of thrombosuction which I did. Over the course of next 10 days, patients started showing improvement. The ejection fraction improved from 10 to 15% to 25 to 30%. The intra-aortic balloon counter pulsation device was removed on day 3. Patient received dopamine and noradrenaline support for additional 3 days. Levosimendan was also given as a 24 hours of infusion. This patient had refractory cardiac failure, and it was only after meticulous ICU care that the patient came out. A check shoot on day 10 demonstrated minimal residual thrombus, which is decided to leave this alone on triple antiplatelet therapy. This was the check shoot, which I think showed a reasonable result. Now this is more than 2 months, and the patient is regularly following up with me. The patient is asymptomatic. His ejection fraction has improved to 30% from the 10% which was there when he had come. He walks 2.5 kilometers every day and has since then returned to gainful employment. Left main thrombosis is an extremely fatal subset of coronary artery disease. Very few survivals have been described anywhere in the world. In the largest series of cases, the maximum number of left main thrombus described were 6, and only 1 of them had successfully survived. Time is money. Better, sooner you open the infarct-related artery, better the prognosis. Thrombosuction is of course the best way. And in a thrombotic milieu, avoid using stents unless absolutely necessary. The best stent that one can get is no stent at all. Immaculate critical care and patient are necessary to achieve a successful result. Note that I did the check shoot on day 10, on day 8, 1 day before the patient was discharged from the hospital. It is not every day that we get a chance to salvage a left main thrombotic victim, and not all patients with cardiogenic shock survive to tell the tale. But when they do, we as doctors feel a profound sense of contentment. I do not believe I did something extraordinary that day. I just did my bit and hope for the unlikely, and luckily the unlikely happened. When this patient walks into my office, even today, with his trademark smile and confident stride, even today I feel proud to be a doctor. And I feel prouder still when his colleague and friend who is accompanying him tells me of the stories which he tells his workmates. Stories which begin with, "But for the doctor's efforts, I wouldn't be alive." Thank you.
For how many days after the procedure, after you had done the thrombosuction, did you keep this patient on low molecular weight heparin?
Sorry?
For how long did you keep this patient on low molecular weight heparin?
Low molecular weight heparin I kept for around 6-7 days.
6-7 days.
Yeah.
And why did you choose to use levosimendan in this patient?
So, patient who was given everything possible. The patient was on dopamine, dobutamine, noradrenaline. Noradrenaline, of course, I tapered out as soon as possible. And patient was still showing signs of residual failure. The patient was in severe myocardial stunning as such. And luckily with levosimendan, he bridged across, and he was quite, at the time of discharge, he was without a single crep.
What was the antiplatelet therapy that you chose?
I chose triple antiplatelet therapy.
What?
I chose 150 milligrams of Ecosprin, 75 milligrams of Propidogrel, and 10 milligrams of Prasugrel.
And 10 milligrams of prasugrel.
Prasugrel.
And clopidogrel.
I chose it in this patient, sir.
It's based on evidence, or it's your
He's a
gut
young
feeling?
patient, and I was reasonably confident of. And there was a lot of thrombus lying for my comfort at the end of the procedure, so I chose it. I gave this 10 milligrams of Prasugrel for around 10 days when the patient was in the hospital, and after that I gave him Clopidogrel twice a day, and that's all.
All right.
You said you took some meticulous care to avoid distal embolization. What are those measures?
So the most important thing which I would say is, do not take a shoot unless the export catheter, which is used to suck out the thrombus, is completely out of the body. I did 10 rounds, and each and every time I took the catheter out of the body, because time and again it has been seen that when you take a shoot before removing the export catheter, the same thrombus in the export catheter is sometimes embolized in the coronary arteries. So this was something I paid utmost attention to. At the cost of making the procedure a little more time consuming, I chose safety over that.
Is your policy to use levosimendan in all these kind of situations?
Sorry?
Is your policy to use levosimendan?
No. See, sir, madam, this was a one-off case in which I just wanted to bridge the gap, and nothing was working, so why not levosimendan? So, I may not be completely, I'm being very honest about what I did for this patient, and this was nothing was working, and patient was really bad stunning, and touch wood, whatever has happened, patient is today fine and doing well. I would not recommend it as a policy, but this is what I've done in this particular
What's his present ejection fraction?
Sorry?
What's his present LV function?
30.
Sorry?
EF. 30.
Ejection fraction on presentation was 10 to 15%.
No, right now.
30.
Right now is 30%.
Okay. Thank you.
When he presented, he had an ST elevation and anterior leads.
Sorry?
When he presented, he had what was the ECG like?
ECG was suggestive of frank anteroseptal MI.
And after when you did the thrombosuction afterwards,
There was a
it settled
significant
quickly?
reduction in the ST elevation,
Yeah, correct.
and now the ECG is pretty good.
Okay, I think it's a excellent demonstration of the technique and the procedure what you did.
Sorry?
And it's an excellent demonstration of the technique that what you did. I think it's very nice. The only important, you were never tempted to put in a stent in this type of situation.
Sorry?
You never tempted to put in a stent in this type.
No, I was never, because after removal of the thrombus, I did not find a significant residual lesion.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
And introducing a stent would be introducing a thrombotic
Yeah,
milieu
I
there,
think-
which I was not at all prepared. When I'm giving 3 antiplatelets, including, unconventional things, But I think in unconventional situations, you probably sometimes have to use unconventional methods.
I think what you did was very, very right, very correct.
Thank you.